Is this her life?
When you play against this guy, if you don't know what he's trying to do, it is infuriating. Like, you can just sit there for 3 minutes and he's deciding whether or not to open.
He's my GRO Padawan. What do you have, Daniel King? You play very good. I think it was one of the greatest limp in poker history. Limpy.
He's trying to use this to his advantage. He's trying to push the limits. You can push back and not feel bad about that at all.
20-25% of the rules which you think is good to follow, right? You're very smart guy. Very smart. Who is the big blind?
He's very comfortable being like hated, which is most people are extremely uncomfortable with.
Bubble. No. Not like that.
Please, 1 second. I am in the middle of a big pot. Please do not disturb me.
I have 4 minutes on my time bank.
If I fold now, I can't see tomorrow myself in the mirror. I just can't watch myself. I would lose all my respect to myself.
It's very understandable if you have suspicions that he's cheating to like have a very different outlook on who he is or how he is and how you feel about the things that he says and does.
What up, everybody? Today, myself and Alex Foxen are going to talk a little bit about Martin Kabrhel. I mean, he's a super polarizing figure in poker. You either love him or hate him. I don't think there's much in between for anyone. And we're going to talk a little bit about his antics, how to deal with him, which I think is important if you do end up playing with him. And, just kind of, giving a little narration on what we think of the guy.
Yeah, it's funny. This summer, after I feel like he got an incredible amount of attention, and then I found that everywhere I went, I was just being asked, like, what do you think about him? How do you handle him? I thought you were going to kill him this time, and like all these things. I thought it's funny. So it definitely an interesting conversation and an interesting character. I mean, he's a very unique guy.
Oh yeah, I mean he's out there in a lot of ways, but yeah, very entertaining. And that is the stance I have now, not the stance I had 2 summers ago at the 250K final table when I was afraid he was cheating. Now that I don't think he is, I can kind of see where he's coming from, see what he's trying to do, and go from there.
Yeah, and I think that there's a couple things to unpack with what you just said, which is one that like it's very understandable if you have suspicions that he's cheating to like have a very different outlook on who he is or how he is and how you feel about the things that he says and does. Like if I thought that he was actually like trying to look at marks on the cards and stuff like that, yeah, I would be like, fuck you, man. Like get like do everything I can, complain to the floor, whatever. But like once that suspicion is kind of alleviated, which I feel very confident in saying that it has been for almost everyone. I don't think anyone's under that impression anymore. I think in hindsight, it's become clear that
a lot of people still think he cheats at Razmadov.
Yeah, don't get me wrong.
Supposedly, allegedly,
right. I've heard some very damning things from other places, but I think at the World Series of Poker, I'm not necessarily vouching for the guy's personality or credibility or anything like that. I don't have a high level of confidence that he wouldn't cheat if he could. But I think at the WSOP, the security in place is relatively strong. It's pretty hard to cheat. I don't think he's marking cards. Like especially now, people are pretty, attentive to stuff like that. So back to what I was saying is that like when you see him as just someone who's like trying to make everyone uncomfortable, to me, it appears clear that he was just playing along with that. He was happy for people to think he was marking cards. He was like, oh, this is great. Everyone's so pissed. So he just played into that, which, if you have, it's a level of sociopathy that's required to be able to do something like that. But if you can do it, I feel like you're trying to fact check or whatever, word check me there. It's like
I can't even spell it.
No, it's just a sociopath. If you are a sociopath, like just like psychopathy is a related to psychopath.
All right, it's a real word, everyone. If you've seen me ever do any content with Foxen, I do have to make sure these words are real. I haven't caught him yet, but I am determined.
Yeah, one time you might, maybe I'll slip eventually up. No, he's someone who like, he's very comfortable being like hated, which most people are extremely uncomfortable with. He has that like that antisocial, disregard for people's opinion of him to one of the most extreme extents that I've ever seen. Whereas like he doesn't really break this character ever to the point where I'm like, I guess he's real. Like I like to think about like, what is he like with his family? Is he like needling his children at the dinner table. Like I'd be curious to see his interactions.
Does he have kids?
Yeah, he has. I think he has like 5 or 6 kids.
No.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man, I would love to get a hidden camera in there.
That's what I'm saying. Honestly, I feel like when I see someone like this, my instinct is to think that they're just like complete Mr. Hyde, Dr. Jekyll type thing, where he's probably the sweetest man in the world with his kids, and like, you know, very like that's what I would expect, to be completely honest. But if he had, like, maybe he's, you know, he's got that Eastern European like high expectations, maybe low, like the love language is not, you know, words of affirmation, you know, I love you. And like the Eastern Europeans tend to be a little bit colder in that sense from my experience.
Mm-hmm.
But I doubt that he's like, you know, I don't think he's a bad guy at all, is I guess what I'm getting at.
You think the family's like getting ready to walk out the door and he's like, 1 second, I'm gonna need another minute, I'm doing nothing.
And he's like, and his son walks into his office and is like, Dad, can I have? He's like, please, 1 second, I am in the middle of a big pot. Please do not disturb me.
I have 4 minutes on my time bank.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man, but
we don't need to speculate about the guy's family life, but that is hilarious.
Maybe that's taking it too far. Obviously, all that's just a joke, but yeah, no, he plays into this. He knows that it gets under people's skin. He kind of is. Remember, like, he's playing poker for fun. He's a business owner. He's successful in other businesses. I don't think his main source of I know his main source of income is not poker. So he's someone that, like, he's there having fun, and this is his way to try to gain an edge. And honestly, like, credit to him. First of all, it's not easy to talk like this all day. And second of all, like, it seems to work.
It works incredibly well. And that's actually one of the topics I was like most excited about to discuss. For when you play against this guy, if you don't know what he's trying to do, it is infuriating. Like, you can just sit there for 3 minutes and he's deciding whether or not to open. Like, it could be absolutely outrageous. Yeah. And that's why if you followed any of the like poker news or poker org coverage, then like you would have seen how many people started calling the clock on him. And honestly, I would say that that is one of the best ways to combat what he's doing. Because if he's going to use more than his fair share of time to gain an edge, your response to that should be to call a clock. And the floors will eventually give a shorter clock and he'll be forced to act faster, which kind of does level the playing field. Because, like, imagine if you look at your cards, you know, it's on him, you're on his left. He waits 30 seconds. And it's like, okay, I might get bored. I might look at my cards. And then eventually you might give away whether you're folding or not pre-flop. Mm-hmm. And so, like, that's like one of the easy examples to mention. But, like, also, if you're bluffing in a spot, it's harder to hold it together for longer in certain situations. And so calling a clock on someone that's taken an exorbitant amount of time is within your right, and honestly something you should do.
Yeah, I think that, you know, I know D-Negs tweeted something this summer about that, I think before the main event. And thankfully, a lot of the higher buy-ins have shot clocks. But when I switch out of shot clock to non-shot clock, that is one of the things I realize, is that there are certain people who just push the limit on how much time they get to take. And I'm not really sure what their incentive is, because if you're like rationally considering the whole situation, there's really, really significant diminishing returns on the amount of time you use, to the extent that if you begin to use more time, you're actually like hurting yourself, assuming you're a winning player at the table. So it is weird to see people take so long for pre-flop decisions. And with Martin, I understand it because it's calculated. But in general, I do think that that's a good thing, that like a good lesson that we can take from Martin is like, don't be afraid to call the clock. It's not personal. I don't know why some of these people are using so much time, because oftentimes it's the same people that, you know, are playing like 12 tables online, and it's like, it takes you 25 seconds to decide whether to open pre-flop. You'd be sitting out at every tournament. Like, I don't understand that, but you want to play more hands, especially the softer the table you're at is. Like, I just don't really understand the reasoning for that. And our response, just, it's not personal. Like, you can even say, like, I've had this conversation numerous times where I'm like, call the clock. Like, sometimes it's even after like 30 seconds. I'm like, look, man, you bet 80K and the guy's all in for 91K into a pot that's 150K. Like, you don't. I'm not. I'm not giving you 3 minutes to make this decision. I'm sorry. It's it's just not like and it's not because I don't like you. It's not because I have spite towards you or something like that. It's just because I want to play poker. I want to play more hands.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the same thing goes for Martin. It's like he's trying to use this to his advantage. He's trying to push the limits. You can push back and not feel bad about that at all.
All right, next up, we got a fun one that I've seen. Foxen has not. So let's listen to what Martin says in the beginning of this.
Amanda in the chat says that Daniel is wearing her favorite hoodie. Poker is war.
No aces back to back? You're running so bad, man. I'm sorry. Running bad. Just running bad. But it will be over soon. Will be over soon. No, not like that. Okay, let's do that. Can you check it blind, sir, just to save some time? Please.
Can you scan your cards?
Of course. You never lead against me, right? 0%. 0%. Let's see. Huh? I was right, yeah?
So you have a situation where he's saying you lead 0% and then you flop trips. So what's your logic on how to play your hand as Brynn with this table talk that's going on, even though it's a one-sided tabletop?
Yeah, well, I think that's probably the most important thing to emphasize is like, for the majority of people, I would advocate not adjusting anything at all to his table talk. However, Brynn's a different kind of guy. I think Brynn has been in this spot enough. He's comfortable. He's able to think on his feet, all these things. So like he has, I think, an interesting thought of like his incentive or his mindset clearly seems to be, if Martin's saying this, he probably doesn't want me to lead. So maybe I'll lead, more often than I normally would. Or I could actually even see Brynn being the type that just like kind of like thinks it's funny that Martin says all this and he's like, no, now I get an opportunity to lead. Like I'm just going to do it,
but not just an opportunity to lead with it.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. An opportunity to lead with like impunity, lead super comfortably. Not just, and it, the cool thing about what leading here when Martin's saying this is, I would imagine that Martin is fairly used to people responding to his antics by doing the opposite of what he says. Like I could understand it being a natural human instinct to be like, oh, you're going to say I never lead? Well, I'll show you lead. So he might actually think that Brynn's more likely to lead with bluffs against him because of all of this talk. So it does make the lead with the trips like pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
He was right.
Pretty nice 2 hands for me there.
Now he leads just to make me. This guy is something.
That's ours for robot. He said the GTO players play like robots.
And yeah, now Martin's at a loss.
He's like,
I fall now. I can't see tomorrow myself in the mirror.
It's the first time he's like stuttered either while making it.
All my respect to myself.
Kenny does lead.
He's like,
I
what?
think you wanna be Bubble Boy. You like maximum pain, right? Good luck, Brynn. Don't do anything stupid. I don't wanna bust you. I have other targets on this table. You know? Like,
That was a new phrase from him that I hadn't heard until this year. It's like, be careful, I don't want to bust you. I have other targets at this table. He never said that to me. Yeah, I had never heard that before this year.
Yeah.
I was always his target. I don't know why. He'd come over from 5 tables away and look at someone next to me and just be like, excuse me, can I ask you a favor? Bust this man, sir.
Yeah.
Brynn, this is horrible. That's horrible, man. I don't even know how to play now.
He's being honest. He doesn't know how to play. He's confused.
$500,000.
$500,000.
Music to Kenny's ears. Very loud music.
Smiling. You better call, otherwise everybody will be smiling.
Oh, he's at least calling.
See, now if I were Brynn, I would definitely raise here. And I would probably just make it really small.
Yeah, I actually like that. Like, I was just watching this mostly from like a fan perspective other than the Peter's hand. But like in game, thinking about, I mean, Martin's range has literally everything that he's opening with, minus what raises the flop.
Yep.
So his range is still going to be pretty darn wide. He's the effective chip leader here, 2 off the money. So yeah, like I really like that.
Yeah.
Unblocking clubs.
So happy.
Just make it
Is this real life?
1.1 million.
Brilliant from Kenny
Or am I
thus
dreaming,
far.
really?
Can't put the wallet on the table.
Is this real life?
I think he's being genuine too. I think he thinks that he has the best hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely is just being like honest quite often with what he's requesting. I played a hand against him where he like rivered a flush, and on the he had a backdoor flush on the flop, and he was calling for a spade on the turn, and then on the river he's like, we just need one more spade, and like honestly he tricked me, because when it happened I was thinking like he must not want a spade if he's like saying this. I thought it was like level 2, but it was level 3 or 5 or 7 or I don't even know.
Yeah, and I always like to play the what's more likely game. Like, is it more likely that he's calling for a card to bluff, or more likely that he's being genuine, right? Because like if you don't have spades and then spades get there in the hand you're talking about, is he really going to bluff it after calling it? Probably not.
I'm more suggesting that not that he was calling it with the intention of bluffing it if it came, but just because he wanted it to seem like it wasn't a bad card for him. So he was like sarcastically calling for it because he had some kind of showdown value that didn't want a spade to come. Would be my thought. Like it's like he has top pair or something and he really doesn't want the 4 flush to come. That was kind of like the way. But then he did end up betting. So like I agree with you that maybe and this hand I think I should have folded the river. I didn't. And he did have the nuts. He just had like the bear queen of spades in this spot on like an ace high board.
Yeah. There was a time this summer we were on the soft bubble of the 50K PLO on day 2, and Deeb's at my table, Sean Deeb, and he bets this guy. There's 43 minutes left in the level, and he bets this guy. The guy has to give him $700, and every time Martin, who is 2 tables away, says not like this or not like that, not like this. I don't do a Martin voice as well as you do.
I don't do too well either.
The other guy had to give Deeb 100 back.
Okay.
For the 43 minutes that are left in level.
Wait, what was the original number? Like how much did he give him?
7.
Oh, come on. That's a terrible bet. How much did Deeb make on this?
I busted with like 8 to 10 minutes left in the level, and Deeb had already collected 1,100.
That's hilarious. Yeah, that's so good. Deeb sharp for somehow suckering someone into that bet, but that's like, if you've ever played with Martin, you know that's a horrible bet for the guy who paid $700.
Yeah, I mean, dude, in the first like 15 minutes, he said it like 6 times, and then there was like a short drought, and then he went on a not like this spree again. It was so good. All right. Anything else you want to add about Martin before we wrap it up?
No, I guess what I'll add is like in summary, because this is the answer to the question that I get so often about him is like, how do I feel? Do I hate him? Do I, how do I not like punch him or something like that? And honestly, I enjoy him at my table. I actually root for him to get moved to my table all of the time for a number of reasons. Mainly the main one is like the EV incentive. I think he makes other people play worse, not just against him, against me as well. He just makes other people like not want to be there, not comfortable, in their own head, all of these things. So like, I think he actually benefits me because he affects others, and I don't think he affects me at all. I feel like I also just like from a pure entertainment perspective, enjoy him at the table. I like bantering back and forth with him, even though he almost never answers me when I say anything back. He's just, he's like a one-sided thing, but I still have fun, giving it back to him a little, trying to occasionally get a little smile out of him, like a little character break where he'll laugh. So I think he's hilarious. I think he's a really smart guy. And I think he's super entertaining. So I think the hate that people expect me to have for him is they're very wrong. I like the guy.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat now. Like I said, used to hate him, like him now, enjoy him nearby or at the table. But all right, that's all we got for today. I hope you all enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.
All right.